guys, welcome to Super61 and welcome to a brand new video. Now it's been a little while since I made a proper video like this, so I do apologise. I've not had as much time as I would like recently to make videos like this. I've had time to race, but putting a video together like this does take a little bit more time than you may anticipate. Of course, you have to record the race itself, set your cameras up to record the steering wheel, and transfer that footage across, render it all out, record the commentary, get it all sorted. So it does take a little while to put these videos together, and I've not had as much time as I would like. But hopefully, moving forward now, I should have more time. And one of the big changes that has happened, if you have seen my latest video, is that I now have a brand new sim rig. So if you haven't seen my latest video, I'll leave the link down in the description below, or of course just head across to my channel page after you've checked this video out, and I have a totally new sim rig, which of course you can see in the bottom right corner of your screen there. It is the Next Level Racing FGT rig. Now I went for this rig because it's quite a good price at the moment. You can actually get it on 0% finance on Amazon, so I thought it was a no-brainer, and I also got the matching freestanding monitor mount. So overall, I am very happy with this rig. In that video, I do show a few little changes and mods I've made to the pedal board and the back of the seat to remove a little bit of flex there. But overall, I am very happy. You see a lot of people online complaining that this rig has a lot of flex. But as you can see throughout this video, as you can see my wheel deck, there is no movement at all there, and I've made zero modifications to that. And I run this game and all my racing games on a high level of force feedback through my Fanatec Club Sport 2.5. So there's a lot of forces moving through the wheel and the base, and the wheel deck does not flex or move at all. And that's something a lot of you guys were asking about in the comments of that video, wanting to see how it works, you know, when I'm using it. So throughout this video, if you check out the camera in the corner, you'll see this is a rock solid platform. So this is going to be the base in which I'm going to be moving forward with. I have plans now to get an even larger ultra-wide screen. So at the moment, mine's a 38-inch. I want to move up to a 49-inch. And then I am going to be building a brand new computer with a 3070 graphics card and a new Ryzen 5 CPU. So I'll be, of course, updating you guys on the channel about the new computer and monitor build setup as we go along. Now, in today's gameplay, you will notice we are doing something completely new to the channel. We are racing around the South African Kyalami circuit, and we are racing in the GT4 series in the BMW M4. Now the reason for this, recently when I've had a chance to race on this game, I've wanted to improve and expand my experience and knowledge of the game, racing new circuits and racing new cars. Now before this video and this race, I'd only gone around this circuit a few times in practice and only done a few laps with this car as well. So throughout this video, I actually think this is quite a good race to watch, because you'll see as I start to improve and learn not only the track a little bit better and work out where the braking points are and where the best racing lines are, but also I start to understand the vehicle a little bit better. The BMW is a very interesting car in this game. It can be a little bit squirmy with the back end. The back end does tend to step out if you're not very respectful of the power coming out of corners. And as you see throughout this video, I start to understand that a little bit better. I start to realise where and when I can get back on the power, when the car does keep and hold that traction. So as this race goes on, you'll see me start to develop a better understanding of this vehicle and this track. Now when I first started playing this game, I was predominantly using the GT3 McLaren, which is arguably the most stable and easiest car to handle in this game. It's a very quick car, it's a great car in real life, but in this game it is a little bit more forgiving for new drivers, especially if you are new to sim racing. But since then, I've actually been using the GT3 Mercedes a lot. That car is a good go-between, a good bridge between something like the McLaren and then some of the more trickier to handle cars like the BMW and especially things like the Porsche. So getting proficient with something like the Mercedes, which is now my go-to and main car that I use, actually really opens the door for driving some of these more tricky vehicles, which is why in this video I was now trying out the BMW. Now, in the past when I've given this a quick little go, I think when the GT4 pack first came out, I tried every single car for at least a lap or two, and this I thought was very difficult to use. But coming back to it, since spending a lot of time with the Mercedes, I have found it a lot easier to handle. Now of course, as I said, throughout this video you'll see me learning this car better, because this vehicle can be very unforgiving if you put your foot down too early. If you haven't got the traction yet and you put your foot on the accelerator, the back end will start to lose you. So this is a car which takes a little bit of patience to get used to, but again, once you handle a car like this and you learn how it works, it does allow you to then step onto other vehicles as well. Now of course, being a GT4 car, it is a little bit slower, it's a little bit more handleable than something that you would drive in the GT3. So again, using the GT4 cars is a good way to step up and learn these type of vehicles before moving on to something a little bit quicker. Now as well as this, in my quest to become a more competent driver at Assetto Corsa Competizione, I have now completely removed the racing line. Now I say completely removed because in the past I would have it on and off depending on the track. On tracks like Silverstone, Brands Hatch, Spa, I would have it off because I know those tracks very, very well. But on tracks that I wasn't too familiar with, rather than learning the track and practicing on it before I knew it very well for a race, I would rely probably a little bit too heavily on the racing line. So I have now completely removed that, because the racing line in this game is very helpful if you are a beginner, because not only does it show you the racing line itself, but it also changes colour depending on when you can get back on the throttle. So I actually found the racing line was very helpful coming out of corners, because it would go from red to green when you had the traction again and you knew you were safe to get back on that power and you weren't going to lose control of the car. But the bad side of that is if you become too dependent on it, you're not actually learning the track. You are pretty much just watching that racing line, waiting for it to switch from red to green, and you can get back on the power and carry on racing. So by turning that off, I actually find you become a lot more aware of your surroundings in a race. I found the racing line gave me tunnel vision. I would pretty much just be staring at that line, waiting for it to go from red to green, and then from green to red. So by removing that, you have to learn the track around you, learn where those braking zones are, look for those signposts, those little kind of markers around the track, those little nods to when you need to be braking, when you need to be getting back on the power again. And by doing this, you do become a more aware driver. And of course, by being more aware, you will increase your skill on the track. So one way I've been doing this is not only in practice sessions, but also in AI races. Now I find having the AI on a very high setting, or as high as you can have it, and compete kind of competitively against it. As I said, I like to race from the back of the grid. I pretty much always start races from 20th place and see how far I can work my way up the grid. But by doing this and having it on, I have it at about 95% aggression and 95% ability. This allows me to still be able to overtake players and still work my way up the grid slowly. In a 50-minute race, I'll normally end up in the top 10, maybe 8th or 9th place. Now, of course, I know this is only racing against the computer, and racing online against real players is going to be very different. But for me personally, with the time I have when I am racing, I'd rather race against high-level AI and have a good, clean, competitive race than spend a lot of time in practice and qualifying to then be knocked off in turn 1 by somebody who doesn't understand braking zones. So I know online can be a whole different ball game, and eventually I may step into it a little bit more now that I have a very high safety rating. I've got all my levels really worked up on this game now, which is great to do offline. I'm still trying to get those track medals for the last few tracks. There's some tracks I really can't get along with. Suzuka just seems like a slip and slide ring for me, like racing on ice. I really do not like that track. But as I said, I'm trying to learn a lot of the other tracks, and maybe once I've got all that really leveled up, I may step into the world of online a little bit more. But it isn't going to be something I'm really ever going to be concentrating on, because for me, online racing just really isn't my bag. Unless I'm in a private server with some drivers that I know are competent, or just a group of friends. But tell me down in the comments below what you guys do to try and improve at any type of racing game just to become a more competitive and competent driver. But that's about it for today's video. If you do want to see more live racing videos, tell me down in the comment section below. If there's anything else you would like to see in the channel, more reviews of gear, or you want to see more of my build project as it goes along, tell me in the comments below. But as always guys, thank you for watching. I will let the rest of this race play out, and I will see you guys in the next one.